Hi, I'm Jack, and welcome back because today I'm going to give you guys a review for a movie that came out for a limited theatrical release recently that I had the chance to go see. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery for Knives Out 2 or Knives In. That is a bad joke, but no, it is Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. It is once again directed by Rian Johnson, and it stars Daniel Craig, Dave Bautista, Janelle Monáe, Edward Norton, Leslie Odom Jr., Kathryn Hahn, Kate Hudson, Madelyn Cline, Jessica Henwick, and many more. And with that said, let's get started. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery follows tech billionaire Miles Bron as he invites his friends for a private vacation on his Greek island. However, when somebody shows up dead, it is up to Detective Benoit Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, to solve the mystery and catch the killer. I loved Knives Out. It's one of my favorite movies of 2019 and is one of my favorite whodunit murder mystery stories. I love how well crafted it was from the ensemble cast that was assembled for that movie. And so is just this mystery that even on rewatches is always engaging and interesting and exciting to watch. And for a while, I was really excited to see what Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig have in store for Glass Onion as Netflix bought the rights to the two Knives Out sequels. And so for a while, I was always really excited for this movie. This has been on top, one of the most anticipated movies of the year for me. And thankfully, I got to see this movie a couple of weeks ago at a limited release for this movie because they're doing that before it comes out publicly on Netflix on December 23rd. So I got to see it early. But now that I saw Glass Onion and Knives Out mystery, I loved Glass Onion and Knives Out mystery. It is another phenomenally crafted whodunit movie with a great ensemble cast yet again, another terrific performance from Daniel Craig, and it is a very worthy standalone follow-up to Knives Out. I'm not going to spoil this movie because it doesn't come out publicly until the 23rd and I got to see it early, so I will do my best to not say a single thing that gives away spoilers for this movie. But kicking off the positives, if you love the mystery of Knives Out, you're going to love the mystery of Glass Onion. It's original, it's new, they tell the story a lot differently, which I really like, where with Knives Out, it's character gets interviewed, flashback, what happens, character gets interviewed, flashback. This movie, it's very much told in a non-linear structure where it's not told in a similar fashion to the first Knives Out movie, which I like. It keeps things original, keeps things fresh, and I like this mystery a lot. I was still engaged and on the edge of my seat watching this movie, and I love what they do with this mystery as a whole here. The ensemble cast here is phenomenal. One of the things I love about Knives Out is the ensemble cast, and there's another really well-assembled cast in this movie. I loved Daniel Craig once again. He knew what he has to do with his character and just how he plays off of everybody. So it's all the funny moments that happen with him that have me dying of laughter. He is so fun in this movie. I can even say this is a funnier movie than even the first Knives Out. There's a lot of moments that have me laughing. It's well-timed, it's well-paced. And the thing with comedy is, there have been a lot of movies recently with comedy where I barely laugh. And coming from me, that's a lot to say. But this movie is one of the funniest movies I've seen all year. And it's done really well. And I think Daniel Craig is fantastic in how he plays off of everybody. And so is the character's reasons for being here, I think, are very understood, and I totally get behind why like some of these events are happening. There's clear character motivations for why this is unfolding in this way. And the rest of the cast is great. I love Kathryn Hahn and Dave Bautista and Edward Norton and Kate Hudson and Jessica Henwick and Janelle Monáe, another one of the standouts of this movie. She is absolutely amazing in this movie, and I love that with Kate Hudson's character. This movie seems to be having a message about being anti-rich people and how it's like we're in the COVID era with this movie and how the movie tackles that and how Kate Hudson's character is kind of an idiot. But they do that really well where it's not really on the nose, but it was really funny for me at the very least. And I like what they do with a lot of these characters and how we learn stuff about Benoit Blanc's lifestyle in this movie and how that stacks up with all these other characters who are like rich and famous and they're important people with important jobs and how that affects him and how he plays off of all that. It's really clever. There's a lot of commentary on that I think is really well depicted and really well delivered. And it's just as well paced as Knives Out, except for a few little moments. But I really liked what they were able to do with this movie. It's well directed. You could tell that it's a much more grander movie because we're now in a bigger location than in the first Knives Out, alongside the production value being absolutely beautiful to look at with just this glass unmansion, the island. There's a new unique setting where it does not feel like it's ripping off of Knives Out, but it's doing something completely fresh and new. And this is a standalone sequel to where it doesn't really rely on the first movie for this movie to work. So if you haven't seen Knives Out, you could still watch Glass Onion and still follow everything just fine. But because the only character that shows up in this movie that wasn't Knives Out is Daniel Craig as Detective Blanc. And I like the standalone nature to it. It's a standalone mystery. It's still just as compelling. It's fresh. They tell it in a new way where I love how investing it was. There's a lot of really well executed twists and turns where you think one thing, it constantly pulls the rug right from under you, and it's like, ha, you thought that? Wrong. And I really like that a lot. It's always subverting your expectations, but in a good way, to where you think one thing, but it gives you something else, but it actually makes even more sense. And the third act is one of the best third acts I've seen all year. I love how this movie just all wraps up, how it comes to a close and what happens throughout. The reveals are satisfying. And this movie wraps up on a very satisfying note, to where I really like how they were able to wrap up the storyline, and so as how everything plays out, and so as tying things up to where there's no loose ends left, where by the end of the movie I sit there and I'm wondering, oh, but what happened to this and whatnot. And I think they do that really well here. It's conclusive. Everything made sense. They managed to explain everything in a way where it adds with what we know of this movie, and it really adds so much more to it, and I really like that a lot. I can confidently say that Glass Onion is just as amazing as Knives Out. I don't know if I could say it's better, because Knives Out is better paced, but Glass Onion is still very well paced for the most part, and still just as good as you are hoping it's going to be. This is still a very worthy sequel in its own right, and I really hope Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig make more of these, because he's 2 for 2 with these movies, and I want to see him make more whodunits, because this movie is well written. I love the production. It's one of the better Netflix movies of the past couple of years, and I loved the cast and performances and the production, the mystery, the reveals, the third act. It has everything I love about Knives Out, and it really ups the scale, which I like a lot in this movie. So I had a blast with this one. I really enjoyed it. I think it's fabulous. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, and I really hope you guys will go check it out on Netflix when it comes out in December 23rd, because I think this is a fabulous movie that you all should go check out when it comes out. So in the end, I'm going to give Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery an A+. It's so awesome to see this movie really early. I was so excited for it, and it is definitely worth the wait and the hype. If you love Knives Out, I have no doubt you are going to love Glass Onion either just as much or maybe even more. And so I really hope you guys will check it out soon. I think it's a great movie, and I hope Rian Johnson makes more of these, because this movie from him is exactly what I want to see more of. And I cannot wait to see what he and Daniel Craig have in store for Knives Out 3. We're really excited to see that, because these movies are a whole lot of fun. They're very well written, and they're so mysterious in a very good way that I just enjoy watching. So yeah, that's my review and my thoughts on Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery. What are your thoughts on it? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it if you have seen it early. But if not, I hope you guys will check out this movie when it comes out on December 23rd on Netflix. So with that said, stay tuned for some upcoming videos I have planned. I'm going to have a review for Andor Season 1 and The Fabelmans. And so is next week, because we're finally going to get Avatar: The Way of Water after 13 years. It's amazing. We're finally getting that movie next week. James Cameron is back. And don't forget to follow me on social media. My username is down below at the bottom of the screen and in the description below. So please go do that while you're at it. And thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button. And stay tuned for more.